So, a couple of questions. How many people grew up with Yiddish? Okay. The rest of the people didn't grow up, is that right? Okay. That's my story. How many people grew up in a, I don't know if I want to say working class background, but in a background where they learned some of the work and labor songs? Good. All right. And sang them. Did you sing them? Sang them at home and sang them, you know, around the campfire and sang them maybe while you were working, or went to a shul probably. How many people went to shul? Workman circle. You workman circle people. Oh, okay. Wild Parrots. Okay. Well, there's the Shalom Aleichem group. Okay, we got that. We got all stripes and. See, we won't talk about politics too much, but I wanted to get some idea because you may know a lot of these songs already, and I have a lot of other songs that you may not know. But I tried to pick songs that would be kind of, you know, easy to teach. And if you know all these, well, we can start from scratch if you want. That'll be fine. So a little bit of background information. It seems like from the show of hands that most people are a little bit familiar with the labor movement, right? Okay, if you're not, then there's maybe a few dates and periods that you need to keep in mind. The latter half of the 19th century is really when the rise of the labor movements, labor unions, and the formation of guilds and labor unions. Both in Western Europe first and then in Eastern Europe. And then, of course, people migrating to this country, Jewish, Italian, Irish, getting involved with trade unions and the trade union movement. And there was a lot of music involved in organizing. But there were also work songs that predate the labor movement. We don't know exactly when some of them were written, but we know. It seems like that it's logical that they were probably sung either while working or by people proud of their work and what they did, the trades. Many songs about tailors, for instance, as opposed to composed songs, which the labor movement spawned a number of wonderful songwriters: Morris Rosenfeld, David Edelstadt, others. A lot of I can't think of all their names. I shouldn't have gone to the party last night. But the songs that we're going to start with are more songs that are not composed. I guess you would call them folk songs. We've had this discussion in some of the other workshops about what's a folk song. And folk songs, well, my definition of a folk song is we just don't know who wrote it. Somebody must have written it. It probably didn't fall out of the sky, but somebody maybe didn't write it, but they sang it, and enough people heard it that they went around. Has everybody got the handout? Anybody not have it? Okay, so maybe I should leave some back there so people can get them, put them on. As people come in, they can take them, I don't know, put them on top of the recycling. Put them on top of this. Okay. There we go. So, folk songs. What's a folk song? Big running argument in the folk music community as to what really constitutes a folk song. I wrote a song about it for Sing Out, and I sent it to them and alienated everybody to sing along, which I'm particularly good at. And but I like Bill Brunzi's definition. It wasn't really a definition. He was Big Bill Brunzi. Does anybody know who Big Bill Brunzi was? Okay. He was a blues singer, right? Yeah, he was an African-American blues singer. And he was once interviewed by somebody, maybe Alan Lomax or somebody like that, who was, he was an ethnomusicologist and went to the South and interviewed quite a number of African-American singers. But anyway, if it wasn't him, then I'll apologize. But asked Big Bill Brunzi if his blues songs were folk songs. And he thought for a minute, and then he said, well, I ain't never heard no horses sing 'em. So that's kind of says. So the basically non-composed songs, we don't know the author, passed down orally, and this is really the first few songs. So, I included some background information that you can ignore in the beginning. You can read at your leisure later, assuming you have leisure. And the first song is Rehearsing Schneider. Now, how many people know this song? This is like you learned this the first day of Shula, right?
My father was a Schneider. So.
Your father was a Schneider. Now, I think the translation is here, but it was made to rhyme. So people are uncomfortable with this translation. We're not going to sing it in English. So it doesn't matter. But, I mean, there's a few words that maybe you might want to know what they actually mean instead of the way it was contrived to rhyme. Verdient kadoches. Anybody know what kadoches means? Yes?
No, I can't say it.
You can't say it?
No, wouldn't be nice.
Yeah.
But it's not, well, I didn't think it was that. Isn't it just chills and fever? This is what it's actually an ailment. It's like a you wake up with chills and fever kind of thing. But it's a catch-all phrase for, it's kind of like
It means nothing.
Tsurus, yeah.
It means like
It means,
very nothing.
but it's even less than nothing. It's affliction.
Right.
It's affliction, less than nothing. See, Jewish tsurus is always less than nothing. That's what we have. So
That's good.
this is what we earn chills and fever for our labor, right? A tailor sews and sews and earns, a disease, a nothing really, but less than nothing. Anything else that we need in here? Well, structure. Anybody know what that means? That's a strike. That's a strike, as in a union strike. So some of the words that were not fit into the way that they made it rhyme, and that's why I'm.
Since we made the strike, basically.
Yeah, right. When the strike came on, since we've struck, now we no longer work from 8 to 8. So. An important date in relation to this song, actually, 1886. Anybody know what happened May 1st of 1886? Haymarket affair. They called it a fair. It was not really much of an affair. It was basically a police riot, really. Yeah, and this was a demonstration for the 8-hour day, and there were people killed in the fray there, and injured union people, workers. But that's why May Day is the International Workers' Day. However, in our country, they moved it. It's September, the first Monday of September or something like that. Why did they move it? Probably for political reasons, because these were very left organizations. You had anarchists, you had communists, and so in this country, I don't know. I don't want to get into a whole political discussion about it, but we don't have May Day. We don't have our. We have maybe the pagan May Day where we dance around the maypole, but we don't have Labor Day on May Day in this country. So, but that's where it came from, 1886. So, last year we would have been unheard of that we. It's good that we don't do it anymore, but we used to work from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Okay, 12-hour day. So, but now we made the strike, and this is probably, after 1886, where the strikers won and got our 8-hour day. So no more working, half an actual, 12-hour day. Okay, that's enough on that. And now let's maybe just go over the words. How many people do not know this song? Do not know. Okay, quite a number of people. So we'll just go over the words, and then how many people? I forgot to ask. How many people read music? Can actually read music? Okay, I included it for people that can read music, but it's not necessary. We'll just we'll do the words first, and then we'll put the melody to it. How's that? Yeah.
If I may show my ignorance, on the score, what is the meaning of M, B7, G?
Oh no, those are the guitar chords. Guitar chords or other instruments. That's just the chording. You know, I'm not going to even play it. These were not. You know, you couldn't be working as a tailor and playing guitar at the same time. Believe me, I've tried. So, yeah.
I don't want to cause a problem here, but some pronunciations of the Yiddish word for bread would rhyme with Nate.
Yeah,
like
that's
the one
right.
that I would use. Okay,
Right.
but interestingly enough, they have the other one there.
Okay, so are we gonna? I know. Well, what happened is the Litvox tried
to.
to. What the Litvox or?
This is not.
This is Galician. This is Southern Yiddish. So you, as the more cultured Litvak, how many people know your Litvak, by the way? How many people know your Galiciana? How many people don't know what the heck we're talking about? Maybe some people might be Romanian or Ukrainian. Or, okay, there's a Northern and Southern Yiddish, and
in between, but
yeah, there are quite different variations, different dialects of Yiddish, but I think it would be too much to go into the class. But what Judy is alluding to is that the word for bread, right, is written in the Southern Yiddish, generally a Southern Yiddish, whereas to rhyme with Nate, which means sewing, breit,
which is how
the Northern Yiddish, both of us actually, and the other Litvische Yiddish would pronounce it. So it could be that whoever put this together didn't know, or somebody changed it, and it gets changed back and forth. People correct my pronunciation all the time because they don't know the difference between Northern and Southern. You know, they speak with a drawl down there. Yeah?
For those of you interested in the definitive exposition of the differences between Litvak and Galiciana, just type in Litvak and Jigan in YouTube. Jigan, D-Z-I-G-A-N. D-Z-I-G-A-N. And you'll see a 3 or 4 minute musical clip of Jigan and Shoemaker.
Yes.
Including Litvak and Galiciana.
Yeah, there were some wonderful bits and songs about that are funny. Yeah.
My source is a Russian friend whose mother ran the Yiddish newspaper in Moscow. So she said that the difference is that the Litvak Yiddish is more like the biblical scholarly type of Yiddish. That's what she told me.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I don't know what to say.
Look, there's kind of a little bit of a chauvinism between these. That's why I didn't want to get into it
I was
too.
only raising the pronunciation.
Yeah,
issue.
no, right, no.
On this
So
one,
you're right to raise it because there's a lot of that kind of thing where rhymes don't quite rhyme because people changed it to a different dialect, and that's true. We could get into all kinds of very funny stories between Litvak and Galiciana. There was a rivalry and a chauvinism back and forth, and it has to do with somewhat the scholarly Vilna Gaon versus the dancing and singing Baal Shem Tov, who was in the south, who was the founder of Hasidism. They should have put him in a ring to duke it out because one wanted to excommunicate the other. But this is beyond the purview of our singing, I think. Yeah.
Galiciana an area then?
Galicia, yeah.
was a former region.
Now, I'm using it in it's southern Poland.
I'm sorry, I raised
It's southern Poland. No, I think it's a good point because we notice these things. People have to notice. I think it's good to point it out because it doesn't rhyme. Yeah, it's southern, but the southern Yiddish really goes all the way from like Krakow through the south, all the way to like Odessa, you know, we got Romanian and, you know, Bessarabia and Volhynia and, you know, let me know when I get to your stop.
Some parts of Ukraine had a Yiddish that was closer to Litvak Yiddish.
Yes, parts of the northern Ukraine especially was closer to the northern, you know. And then you got Warsaw, they had the mixture of a different, both together. A little too much, but just so that you know that there may be some pronunciation things. Yeah.
Another thing, which is, I think people probably played with it because, for example, the way I learned it was for the first stanza, and Kum de Shabbos Evataloch.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, there are different verses to it. There's there's.
So instead of, you know, he's left
Yeah.
with, you know, with
Right.
whatever coin with the hole, it's welcome
But
Shabbos.
dinta gilden mit der Loch.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
A coin with a
Right.
hole in it. That's all I get for my work, you know.
And as I
Right.
said, and
Yeah.
our version at home was
Yeah.
different.
And the funny part is the hole was what was the value of the
Right.
coin. Actually, you'll get that later. Okay, so otazoi. You'll repeat. Okay, not ot, but otazoi. Neta Schneider. And that repeats. Otazoi Neta Schneider.
Otazoi Neta Schneider.
Otazoi Neta Doch. So let's try that all together. Otazoi Neta Schneider. Otazoi Neta Doch. Otazoi
Neta Schneider. Otazoi Neta Doch.
You can see there's a very decided rhythm to this. Okay, that's the chorus, the refrain. And Nate, a ganze Woche. And Nate,
a ganze Woche.
Okay, so I transpose the R. I put if you have a pen or pencil, the way I know it is Nate, not Nate R. Nate, the ganze Woche. So I put the R, I put the he part in front of it. Okay, so Nate,
Nate,
a ganze Woche.
ganze Woche.
Verdient er Gilden mit der Loch.
Mit der Gilden mit der Loch.
Right, so that verse is in there actually. Okay, but yours is a little different. The Shabbos part.
Kum dem Shabbos Evataloch.
Right. Okay. By it comes the time when he's done working for Shabbos, all he's got out of it is a hole.
Yeah.
Right, which of course in sewing is significant. So then the second verse. A Schneider Nate.
Schneider, Nate.
Verdient Kadoches, nicht kein Breit.
Verdient Kadoches, nicht kein Breit.
Okay, yeah. Nit kein Breit is what it says. Okay, so it has the Southern Yiddish. If you're a Litvak and you want to say Nit kein Breit, you can do that. That's fine. I'll accept either on the final. So the next verse, Vater Joren, nicht heimgedacht, haben wir gehorvet, von 8 bis 8. Okay, gehorvet is worked. We've worked. Okay.
Toil.
All right, or toiled, right. Aber der Struxie hat gemacht. Wir haben schon. Okay, now I leave out the shoin because otherwise you got to swallow all these words. So cross out the shoin because you really don't need it. If anybody disagrees, that's fine. You can throw it in there. Be my guest if you can fit all those words in and scan it into the thing. Okay, right. Wir haben mehr. Wait. Oh, nicht mehr is okay. Okay, the way I see it, I just realized that I copied this from a book and I learned it a different way. So I sing it nicht mehr, but so I'll try to sing it this way, just because if we start, we're going to have a page with all ink on it instead, well, with all corrections on it. Okay, so wir hören mehr nicht. Von 8 bis 8. Yeah, it's interesting because it's mostly it's Litvish because it's fun and not thin, you know.
The shine, you should put the nicht mehr.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, it should go the other way, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make that correction. The party of the first part. Okay. Nit mehr. So nit mehr. All right, we'll do. I know. Well, we have some grammaticians here, so we want to. I made up a word. Okay, so now the tune. Otta Zoltan Schneider. Let's just do line by line because some people don't know the song. I know half of you know the song, and the other half don't. Okay, there's some sheets over here. Next week I'm bringing pillowcases, but just take those. Take one, pass it down. Okay, so we'll do line by line. Now you notice that this kind of has a rhythm to it, like you could sew to. All right, you know. All right, so I'll do a line, then we'll do a line. Okay. Otta Zoltan Schneider.
Otta Zoltan Schneider.
Otta Zoltan doch.
Otta Zoltan doch.
Otta Zoltan Schneider.
Otta Zoltan Schneider.
Otta Zoltan doch.
Otta Zoltan doch.
Okay, now we'll put the whole chorus together and sing it as written. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Otta Zoltan Schneider. Otta Zoltan doch. Otta Zoltan Schneider. Otta Zoltan doch.
Good. Okay, now we'll do the first verse, which is the one underneath the music. Oh no, there isn't one. That's English. Okay. Oh, there is. You're right. Okay. I didn't bring my glasses either. Oh yeah, here it is. It's the third line. It's the third line. Okay. So as I say, I put the he, the air in front. So. Näht die ganze Woche. Näht die ganze Woche. Verdient Gilden mit der Loch. Verdient Gilden mit der Loch. Now all together. Näht Gilden mit der Loch. Everybody comfortable with that so far?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting out with that kind of thing. Okay, ready? Here we go from the top. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. Näht die ganze Woche, verdient Gilden mit der Loch. Näht die ganze Woche, verdient Gilden mit der Loch. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. A Schneider näht und näht und näht, verdient kann doch es mit kein Breit. A Schneider näht und näht und näht, verdient kann doch es mit kein Breit. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. Third person. Jahren nicht heimgedacht, haben mir gehorvet von 8 bis 8. Do you want to go over the words a little bit on this? Yeah? Okay. No? Well, you know the song already, right? You know it already? Okay. Well, some people don't know the song. So we'll just go over the words. Jahren nicht heimgedacht, haben mir gehorvet von 8 bis 8. Okay, so here we go. Jahren nicht heimgedacht, haben mir gehorvet von 8 bis 8. Jahren nicht heimgedacht, haben mir gehorvet von 8 bis 8. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan doch. Otta Zoltan Schneider, Otta Zoltan. Fourth verse. Aber Destruktion hat gemacht, wir haben nicht mehr von 8 bis 8. Let's just do the words just for people that are, okay. Aber Destruktion hat gemacht, wir haben nicht mehr von 8 bis 8. Okay, ready. aber der Sozi hat man gemacht. Wir arbeitet nicht mehr von 8 bis 8, aber der Sozi hat gemacht. Wir arbeitet nicht mehr von 8 bis Chorus. Und da soll nicht der Schneider, und da soll nicht der Doch. Und da soll nicht der Schneider, und da soll nicht der Doch. Okay, everybody will ready to move on to the next song? Okay. Somebody say no? Oh, all right. That's why I put the music. If people want to sound these out on a keyboard or a fiddle or something, take this home. It'll remind you. Yes?
That a lot of these, like the very last measure, Nitalo, it sounds like you're going G, G, F, the group, not G, F, E.
Yeah, it's descending from the GFE. Yeah. But you know, people weren't that particular, I don't think. I mean, when, you know, if they're especially, well, you know, with kids. But if you read, you know, you go ahead and read. This is the way this is the way it's been pretty much standardized. So, Zoltan, what does that mean?
Snowing.
It's snowing, right? Snow is falling. How many people know this song? Nobody. Okay, so I start out with one. A lot of people know. This one is less, which accounts for the fact that I had to handwrite it out myself. It is, I found out in the book, More Pearls, or New Pearls of Yiddish Song, which I don't know if we have here. We don't have that one here. It was out at one
I may
point.
have it right here.
Oh, you have it? All right. Judy's the Jewish library librarian. So
Okay,
you're
so
not
what-
anymore?
Oh, I mean, I'm there.
Okay.
Howard's the head librarian.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Let me just see.
All right. You're a volunteer, but you know
Yeah,
everything.
18 years. And
I know that.
Okay,
I-
so let's.
It is in there. It's in. It's actually the book is called Songs of Generations, and it's just about 10 years old, I think, something like that. And it's in the book.
64.
Right. I mean, you can look at in the book if you want. But I wrote out the music because I didn't have that book this week. So this is a song. We did one about tailors, and of course there are many seamstresses. In fact, probably even more seamstresses than tailors. So we don't want to leave out the women. And this is a body of songs of women complaining about how hard and awful the conditions were of work in the sweatshops. And we're talking, you know, late 19th, early 20th century, when it was piecework. Does everybody know what we're talking about with piecework? I'll say it anyway. You're paid by the piece. P-I-E-C-E. It's not P-E-A-C-E. You know, P-I-E-C-E. That's what accounts for the fact that you see in some photos women going home with the garments on their head. How many people, you know, old photos from the beginning of the 20th century, why are they going home with, I'm making it difficult for you, I realize, but why are they going home, we can edit that out, right? Why are they going home with these shirtwaists, shirts piled on top of their head? Who knows? Because they didn't make their quota. That's right. So they had to finish at home, and then they would come in and bring them and have their quota for the previous day. Then have to work on their quota for the current day. So this was, and needles would break and go through your finger. No matter the blood got on the garment. You were docked because you ruined the garment. You had to pay for your needle. You also, in some shops, had to rent your own seat at the sewing machine, and they were the big overlock sewing machines. I remember my grandmother's sister telling me like it was yesterday, 70 years hence, her first day. It was so traumatic. At 90, she remembered her first day at 15 years old in New York, in the sweatshops, and she had no idea what she was doing. She was scared out of her wits and kept ruining garments. Luckily, her cousin Solly was the shop foreman, and he covered for her. So I visited him when he was 105 in Florida, actually, and I got stories. Well, I visited him when he was 104, and he had a few more stories. And then 105, he was already in the nursing home in the bed, not ambulatory. And I wanted to say to him, you know, sollst du leben bis 120 Jahre. You know what that means? You should live to 120 years, but I was only giving him 15 years, so at that point it's not so much of a bracha. Okay, but he was a glazier who was apprentice putting the glass into the Macy's department stores in New York. So I don't even know if it's the same glass at this point, but my family all came over, and this is the kind of work that was available. They did the sewing work, they did glaziers, they were tailors, they were, well, we'll get into some, other Schneider, Schuster, the shoemakers. So, with that in mind, this is another song. We don't know who wrote it. If anyone does know who wrote it, I would be happy to credit that person on the sheet, or we can write it in. That I did not translate, so for those of you who are Yiddish challenged, it's pretty simple. It just says, the snow is falling day and night, but what do I care? All I'm here is sewing. That's it. All I do is sew, sit and sew. Outside, in Reisten geht der Regen, outside it's raining, and it's snowing. My younger years are now all past. They're all gone by, sitting by the by the sewing machine. Okay. There's a couple of other verses to this, but this is probably enough of a taste because we won't get through if we.
There's a little bit of it. You want a little bit of explicatory material.
Oh, you want me to read that?
I don't know. You want to read it?
Okay, this folk song. I'll read it since you handed it to me.
Yeah.
This folk song has several melodies, two of which are presented here. Well, I only have one.
Okay.
One was printed in the arrangement of Scheinens for chorus in Gesang and Kamf. This is another reason I should have brought my glasses. It was also published by Michael Galbert. Now he was from Łódź, Poland. The second melody was collected by the compilers from composer Benjamin. The stanza beginning with, well, we're not doing that stanza, so I think, all right, poem, it was lifted from David Edelstadt's Der Arbeiter. So Edelstadt was a Yiddish poet who wrote very strong pro-union songs. If we get a chance, I meant to include one in the sheet, but he wrote, Schnell Life in the Redder, and in Kamf, not Mein Kampf. That's a different workshop. That one is march songs, stock, kind of, workers' march songs. And he also wrote, Gitte Freund, wenn ich will sterben, trotzdem ein Käfer unser Fahn, die freie Fahn mit reiter Farben, bespritzt mit Blut von Arbeitsmann. My dear friends, when I die, carry to my grave the red flag of the workers stained with the blood of Jew and Christian. So you get an idea of Edelstadt. He was good. All right, thanks. That's good. So let's just do a little bit of this that I've got here. And
I guess you'd have no more handouts, right?
oh, I've got a hand for you. Have I got a handout for you?
Boy.
Did anybody else not get the handout? Okay. People are leaving and with the handout, but that's okay. They can learn them on their own. They figured that out. I included too much material. You don't even have to stay. Okay. So we'll go over the words. They're very simple. For those of you who are fluent in Yiddish, bear with us, okay? If you know the song already. Nobody knew this song, so that's Svalta Schnee. Now that's a contraction of, it's really asphalt. Okay, so, but Svalta. So, Svalta Schnee. Tag und Nacht. Tag und Nacht. Norich Nee. Norich Nee. Now, in my version of it, Tag und Nacht repeats. So if you want to put two X 2 times after the third line there, the way I sing it, that's also repeats. So all 3 lines are sung twice. In Reisten geht der Regen. Okay, and that repeats it. Und es fällt der Schnee. Meine junge Jorn.
Meine junge Jahren.
Okay, I sing Zennen angeworden. Okay, we'll sing it this way. Hab ich angeworden,
Habe ich angeworden.
sitzendig, ständig beim Genei.
Sitzen sich ständig ein.
That's a good tongue twister for the. There's a lot of words that need to buy vowels in Yiddish. Sitzendig,
Sitzen sich
ständig
ständig
beim Genei.
beim Genäh.
Sitzendig, ständig beim Genei.
Sitzen sich ständig beim Genäh.
We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay. So that's really all of the song that's here. So I'll sing a line. You repeat after me. And this is a very plaintive kind of almost a wail, lament kind of a song the seamstress would sing. I should give myself a key for this one. Spalt a Schnee, spalt a Schnee, spalt a Schnee, spalt a Schnee. Much better. Okay. Tag und Nacht, Tag und Nacht, Tag und Nacht, Tag und Nacht, nur ich nicht, nur ich nicht, nur ich nicht, nur ich nicht. Okay, let's just do all that as much together. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Spalt a Schnee, spalt a Schnee, Tag und Nacht, Tag und Nacht, nur ich nicht, nur ich nicht. Now, we'll do the verse and I'll say it and you repeat. In Reisten geht der Regen, all the same note except for the first. In Reisten geht der Regen, and then in Reisten geht der Regen, in Reisten geht der Regen, unser fällt der Schnee, der Schnee, unser Schnee, meine junge Jorn hab ich angeworden, meine junge Jorn hab ich angeworden, sitzendig ständig beim Genäh, sitzendig ständig beim Genäh. Now, you want to try it all together? Everybody okay? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Spalt a Schnee, spalt a Schnee, Tag und Nacht, Tag und Nacht, nur ich nicht, nur ich nicht. Verse 3. In Dreußen geht der Regen, in Dreußen geht der Regen, unser Vater Schnee, a Schnee, unser Vater Schnee, a Schnee, meine junge Jorn hab ich angeworden, sitzendig ständig beim Genäh. Good? Okay. So, Wegen a fremd kind. What do you think that means?
Rocking a
stranger child. Okay. And this is a lament of a babysitter. Which, of course, a young, this is not something that has changed. You know, you earn a little bit of coin for babysitting, probably a little bit more these days than you did back then in these days. But what is she lamenting? That she has to, be sitting there doing while all the other girls are out playing, or having in one of the verses having sweets or cookies. She's sitting there rocking someone else's child to sleep. But now, whether she was paid is another question, because it doesn't really say anything about any payment. But we have the next couple of songs are actually songs about children working. So let's do the.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know it doesn't matter for the class, but just for your information, the first two measures are the wrong notes based on what you were singing.
Oh, on.
Maybe that's maybe.
Oh, really? On Santa Schnee?
Yeah,
Oh.
because you're in E minor and you end on E minor and you start on.
No, it's right. Yeah. It starts on the B. Right. Svalda Schnee.
No, that's a G you're singing and it's an F.
He's transposed.
You could do it on your guitar.
Okay.
You can check.
Zoltan. Update this.
You were singing a chord. Okay, let's do both.
We're singing the Choli.
I'll look at it and see. I'm pretty sure it's right, but if I'm singing it wrong,
You're
then
singing your own version?
it could be.
Copied
Yeah.
it wrong or whatever.
Well, it was my piano. My piano was out of tune. And, yeah. All right, but we'll go to.
You didn't use the Goyish piano, did you?
I was going to bring my piano, but it weighs about 3,000 pounds. So, okay. So let's go over the words to "Wegen der Fremdkind." They're at the bottom for the most part. There's okay. So sollst also leben. Let's try that again. Sollst also leben. Und sein gesinnt. Right. Or gesund if you're.
Because it's got a rhyme.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So it's rhyming in the Southern Yiddish. Okay, here we run into that.
It's gotta be gesund.
Right. So it really isn't. I appreciate that you and I are both Litvak and some of the other people, but for us to change the songs to our dialect when they probably came from the southern part
This
of Eastern
rhymed,
Europe.
but the other
Yeah,
one didn't.
that's
It
right.
interesting.
That was a good. That was good to point out. Okay, so sollst also leben und sein gesinnt. Wer will sitzen und Diggens Kind? Sitzen und Diggens. Let's try that one again. Wer will dir sitzen und Diggens Kind? Wer will dir sitzen und Diggens Kind? Okay, so it's really a contraction of das Kind, So, and then the chorus, I lulu, sha sha sha.
I lulu, sha sha sha.
Dein Mamisch ist gegangen in Marka rein.
Dein Mamisch ist
Gegangen in Marka rein. Right? I lulu, schlof mein Kind.
I lulu, schlaf mein Kind.
Die Mamische wird kommen. I'm sorry, kimmen. Okay. Die Mamische wird kommen, gich und geschwind. Die Mamische wird kommen, gich und geschwind. So, what does this mean? I didn't put the translation for those who might be wondering. It's I didn't put the translation. No. So you should be well. You should live and be well and healthy. But because I'm here and I'm rocking your cradle. Okay, and then Ayulu and Sha 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 is, of course, any lullaby in Yiddish has one or the other. This one has both. It's Hushabai, right? Okay, your mother is going to the market, right? And then sleep my child. She's going to be coming back soon. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's sing just that much, just the first verse, and then we'll go over the other two verses, the Yiddish and the other two verses. So you'll repeat after me. Sollst also leben, sollst also leben, und sein Gesinnt, sein Gesinnt, wie ich will hier sitzen und wecken das Kind, wie ich will hier sitzen und wecken das Kind, wie ich will hier sitzen und wecken das Kind, wie ich will hier sitzen und wecken das Kind. My version again might be a little different from what is printed here, but it's close. Okay, so these are folk songs, many variants. So the chorus, I lo lo sha sha sha, I lo lo sha sha sha. Dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein. Dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein. Ei, Lulu, schlaf mein Kind. Die Mamesch wird kommen, gich und geschwind. Ei, Lulu, schlaf mein Kind. Die Mamesch wird kommen, gich und geschwind. Okay, is everybody feeling pretty comfortable with it so far? We'll go over it again, but let's do the second verse, the Yiddish, okay? So, which is actually close. Sollst also leben? Es geht mir drinnen. Dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein verdienen. That's a mouthful, but dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein verdienen. Dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein verdienen. Okay, so we'll sing that. Sollst also leben, sollst also leben. Es geht mir drinnen, es geht mir drinnen. Dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein verdienen. Dein Mamesch ist gegangen in Markerein verdienen.
Could you translate that?
Oh, well, this is pretty much the same as what skate mir drinnen is. This is idiomatic. It's like what I'm kind of here in it. I'm stuck here. What would you say? Skate mir drinnen. Hard to translate some of the Yiddish. I mean, this is of course Legion. But do we have,
almost my lot.
this is my lot. Yeah, this is how I have to be. I'm stuck. I'm basically my feeling or my sense. You know, here I am stuck here. Your mother is going to, I believe, sell.
Yeah.
In this case,
To earn.
she's going to go make some money in the market. So they would take their goods to the market, like you know, my great grandfather had a cart and horses. He would take the cattle to the shochet to be slaughtered in Vilna Gubernia. Okay, so
Earn?
yeah, verdienen, yeah, would be earned. The guy would go sell some goods of whatever this was that the family produced, and earn some money. Yeah.
If I could introduce my understanding of this, sometimes it's addressing the child in sort of a lullaby-like way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's really addressing the mother. So if you go back to the first stanzas, it sounds like she's talking to the child. You should live and be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Vel dir sitzen und digging this Kind.
Yeah.
So dir sitzen, it's like I'm doing it for you. I'm going to sit here for you and cradle or rock your child in a possessed kid. So it's different from saying to the child,
Right.
I'm rocking you. It makes it more of a labor song.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. No, that's good. And of course, the second verse is pretty much directed to the child because
Right.
your mother is going to come back soon, or your mother's going to the market to earn some money. Let's go over the third verse. Andere Mädelach tanzen und springen. Und ich muss das Kind biggen und singen. Okay, so other other little girls can go dancing and jumping around, playing, but I have to rock this cradle and sing to the child, sing her to sleep. So, did we sing the second verse yet? I got lost. Okay, so let's sing the second verse. Sollst also leben, sollst also leben, es geht mir darinnen, es geht mir darinnen, dein Mamisch ist gegangen, in Markerein verdienen, in Markerein verdienen, dein Mamisch ist gegangen, in Markerein verdienen, dein Mamisch ist gegangen, in Markerein verdienen. Ai Lulu, Sha, 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 dein Mamisch ist gegangen in Markerein. Ai Lulu, schlaf mein Kind, im Mamisch im Bett kommen, und geschwind. The third verse, so we can just probably sing it. We went over the words, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Andere Mädel tanzen und springen, und ich muss das Kind singen und singen. Ai Lulu, Sha, 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 dein Mamisch ist gegangen in Markerein. Ai Lulu, schlaf mein Kind, die Mamisch im Bett kommen, gech und geschwind. I still can't say Kimmen. Okay. So, all right. Everybody good on that one? Geschwind is like...
Quickly.
Yeah. Gech and geschwind, yeah. Pretty much synonymous. Yeah, straight away, right. Handout? Yes. Everybody wants a handout.
Because Mamishi tends to be a Romanian and Belarusian, Bessarabian pronunciation. And there are different ways of pronouncing the family members.
In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen is the next song. What does that mean? Does anybody know what that? In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen. Who knows?
Something from Russian, Drobner?
Just outside.
Dripping.
Some kind of rain.
It's some kind of rain, that's right. Good. Yeah.
Another song that says about the Grüne Cousine.
Yeah.
You're a Drobner Fisselach.
You're
Drobner.
right.
That must be it's from that.
Wet,
Yeah,
probably, no?
No?
Okay, well, this might be different, a different word. I don't, yeah, okay. So it's, outside is a drip, well, what's a better word? A fine rain. Or, a misty rain, a dripping rain, literally, I guess, something like that. It's not like a big storm, but although it says the volcanists, the lightning, thunder, they are spread out across the sky, right? Okay. And then ever since I came to the bakery and came to work, in other words, it's Kopfverdrehen, and you probably know this already, I'm going nuts. My head is literally my head is spinning. Okay. So, which of course ties in with the whole idea of the mill. He's going to a mill, and the mill, what does it do? It spins. Okay, so there's the little bit of the play there. Okay, so the second verse, a mill, as it mills, it sometimes is at rest. Okay, but it's only for a minute that it stops. Okay, but look at me, this little Becca Yingle, the baker boy, apprentice. They make a drop of blood. They squeeze a drop of blood out of me. Is kind of what I get. Does anybody want to make a literal translation of it? Verse 3: the Becker mit der Bäckerin, the baker with his wife. They come into the bakery and they show off their riches and with their style, the Steiger, their high, lofty style. She comes in with a pair of diamond earrings, and he with a gold watch. Okay, everybody okay with that translation? So, here's how we should go over the words. So we'll do the words. We have till what time? 2:45, 3 o'clock? What do we have? 2:45? Okay, so we're cool. All right. In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen.
In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen.
Die Wolken haben sich verspreit. Die Wolken haben sich verspreit. Okay. Seit ich hab nur die Bäckerei der kennt. Seit ich hab nur die Bäckerei der kennt. Also hat sich mir der Kopf verdreht. Okay, now we'll do, I'll sing it, you repeat this, each line. Let me get a key. In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen. In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen. Die Wolken haben sich verspreit. Die Wolken haben sich verspreit. Zeit ich hab nur die Bäckerei der kennt. Zeit ich hab nur die Bäckerei der kennt. Also hat sich mir der Kopf verdreht. Also hat sich mir der Kopf verdreht. Okay, want to try it all together now? Okay, just whatever the best you can. It's okay. In Reisten geht der Drobenke Regen. Die Wolken haben sich verstreit. Zeit ich hab nur die Bäckerei der kennt. Also hat sich mir der Kopf verdreht. Good. Now, the second verse. Amil azimot volzike seder. Do you want to try it together with me, or do you want to take it apart?
Together.
Try it all together? Yeah, I think it's the same as the same music. So we could just, yeah. I mean, if people want to go over some Yiddish, let me know, so we don't leave anybody behind. All right. So. Amil azimot volzike seiden. Varil aufstell is euch da minut. That second line, just to point out, da minut. So for your aufstell is euch da minut. So you run in the da, right, together. Okay. So, just that line. Varil aufstell is euch da minut. Guck nah an, das glänzte Bäckerjingel. Sie vermocht den Tropfen Blut. And then that line often, the second two lines often repeat. Guck nah an, das glänzte Bäckerjingel. Sie vermocht den Tropfen Blut. Ready for the third verse? Here we go. Der Bäcker mit der Bäckerin, sie kommen in der Bäckerei. Leute zerreichten und Mäuser steigen, sie geht angetan vor brillanten Orgeln, und in a goldenem Säger. Sie geht angetan vor brillanten Orgeln. There's a number of ways that can be scanned, by the way. Und in a goldenem Säger. Let's do the first verse just to round it out. In Reisten geht a drobinger Regen. Die Wolken, sie haben sich verstreut. Seit ich hab nur die Bäckerei erkennt, also hat sich mir der Kopf verdreht. Okay. So, Oh, your cup was verdreht here. Okay, now we come to Shoemaker's song, Schuster's song, which is a composed song. Now, whether he took some words that were already existing up from Reisten, very famous Yiddish poet, late 19th century, early 20th century, I believe, an ode to the hammer. Now, of course, the hammer takes on a lot of significance to the political left at this time, but many professions used a hammer, not, of course, not just as a shoemaker, but you know, the hammer was still you know, construction. I mean, all kinds. It's a prime tool of the trade. So this is another kind of a cappella song that might be sung while working, and you hear the rhythm kind of the. I'll tell you what. I'll sing it first, just so you get the feel of it. Oh, hemmerl, hemmerl, klap. Schlaggecher hat schwach nach hat schwach. In Stub ist kein Breit, noch schein nicht da. Not Zores und Leid an den Neck. In Stub ist kein Breit, schein nicht da. Not Zores und Leid an den Neck. You can sort of hear, now I'm doing it slowly, but you know, you hear like the hammer hammering the nails into the shoe. There's a lot of songs about hammering nails into shoes, stitching through a piece of cloth, you know, and so this was written as if it were a work song that could have been sung as people were, you know, hammering. So,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Who did the melody? Is it just text?
You know, that's a good question. Homework for you. Oh, I don't know. It may be anonymous, or if it was written by collective unanimous. You're right. It doesn't say. And he was a poet, so most likely he didn't write the music to it. But that's a good. Let's see. If people who are interested, go and Google, see if you can find. You can find so many things on the computer these days. It's amazing. I downloaded a 1911 wax cylinder recording of Sophie Tucker singing the Reuben Rag.
Wow.
Yeah, off the internet for my Jews and jazz class about 10 years or 12 years ago. So, okay, let's try the Yiddish from the middle of the page here. Oh, hammerl, hammerl, klap. Oh, hammerl, klap. Schlagich. Oh wait, this is that's still the first word. Okay, Schlagicher a schwach, noch a schwach, a schwach. Schlagicher a schwach, noch a schwach. Right, schwach. That's another one of those that needs to buy another vowel, right? Okay. In Stub is kein Breit, schein nicht to. In Stub ist kein Breit, schein nicht so. Nur Zores und Leid on the neck. light on the neck. It has a pretty good translation. If somebody differs or quarrels and wants to offer something, that's fine. Next verse. O hemerl, hemerl, klap. O hemerl, hemerl, klap. Es schlug schon der Säger bald 12. Es schlug schon der Säger bald 12. Die Augen, sie machen sich zu. Die Augen, sie machen sich zu. Gib Keuches, O Gott in you health. Gib Keuches, O Gott in you health. Third verse. Well, we don't need to do the hemerl. Let's go to the second line. Schlug starke, die Zweckes, schlug gich. Bis morgen muss fertig schon sein.
Bis morgen muss fertig schon sein.
Der gewirnetes Techterls Schich. Der gewirnetes Techterls Schich. That's another one. Gewirnetes Techterls Schich. So, fourth verse, just starting with the second line. Nit glitch. All right, I don't have. The way I sing it, zich, the third word, actually. Wait, how do I sing it? Okay, is after hand. It's actually the.
Would you actually have an S with tefteros? I mean, I guess you would.
Yeah, you know what? I think it is. It's what is it? Not dative. A lot of times. Okay, we could get into that discussion of whether it follows the German grammatical scheme.
Yeah, because it's a possessive.
It's a dative. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a possessive. That's what it is. Not dative. Okay, not dative. Okay, so sometimes Yiddish is much less following German grammatical correct. It's less. What am I trying to say here? I can't even do American grammar. Well, sometimes the Yiddish follows the German grammar and in a correct fashion, and other times it's a much I don't want to say what lower. I mean,
less constipated.
Less constipated. Oh, all right. I'll use that. That's fine. It's more colloquial, and you got double negatives. For instance, a lot of double negatives in Yiddish, where a double negative anywhere is grammatically not correct. But okay, in this case, it seems to follow with the possessive with the s at the end of both of the words. So where were we? Okay. The Nitlich von mein Hand sich arois. So I take the zich and I put it before arois, if you want to correct that or remember it. I should have required everyone bring a writing implement, but I didn't notice all this until really this morning when I was going over it just before the class. So, but otherwise I'm going to be singing it differently. So, mein einziger oh, we didn't do that verse. Okay. Nit glitch von mein Hand sich arois. Nit glitch von mein Hand sich arois. Glitch is the same word which has become in English usage. A glitch, it came from Yiddish. We have a lot of English words like that.
It's slippery. It's glitching.
Just slip.
Slipping.
I used to describe, if you'll pardon the expression, an oyster going down my throat is very glitching.
An oyster going down your throat. Okay. You were raised in a religious family. Good. So.
This was after I left the house.
That's okay. We don't need to have it's nobody. I mean, we have. This was primarily instigated by a secular movement, although there were people who were religious and wrote about not working on Shabbos in the songs. Just since that subject came up, I sort of spit it out. But a lot of the Haskalah, people familiar with the late 19th century, the openness and enlightenment period, and quite a number of the political labor groups were agnostic to atheist even. And then there were some within Workman's Circle. By the way, I'm a member of Workman's Circle here in San Francisco. It's the Maurice Saban branch of Workman's Circle. There is some information about it, I'm told, on the table behind that wall. if you don't know Fischl Kuttner, how many people don't know Fischl Kuttner? He is here, and he's kind of the macher behind the Workman Circle group in this area, in the Bay Area, out of San Francisco. He's a great person to talk to about Workman Circle.
And many other things.
Yes, he will talk to you about just about anything.
What is it?
Yeah.
Workman Circle.
Workman Circle Ring is a fraternal organization of workers and their families founded in 1900 to help people get into unions. And people, especially immigrants coming over from Eastern Europe. And it was the Jewish labor movement kind of grew up alongside of the secular non-Jewish labor movement because of anti-Semitism, and before, it wasn't always, Jews were not always accepted immediately into the main labor unions and labor movement, but that changed, so you get into the 20s and 30s when the Jews were the main organizers of these unions, then, you're not keeping Jews out. Anyway, that was just a little bit of, what was the question now?
Something about religious. I didn't.
It was how to join Workman Circle. Where the application?
Oh, the Workman Circle, yes. Still an active chapter here. Talk to Fischl. He's about, what, 85?
Talk to him here, but Diana is actually, Dorit, I believe, is the new.
Is she the chair,
I don't know if she's
president?
the chair, but of the people here today, she's the most
Oh,
active.
Dorit, who is at the front.
Yellow dress.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Tell us
Dorit.
about Workman Circle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Absolutely.
very involved with.
Diana Scott. I don't
and
know if Diana's here today.
Very good.
And Diana had been the president. Fischl was the man who kept it alive for years and years and years, but he wanted to make sure that a somewhat younger generation, kept it and brought it into the future.
Good.
You can talk to him about the history and everything that it stands for, but Dorit will also be able to tell you about the activities and things like that. It's a wonderful organization.
And the reason, and a lot of it is about preserving Yiddish these days,
Yes.
and not so much politics, although there, can be. Healthcare, I think, is a big issue. So I think Workman
You
Circle.
mentioned religious, and about, 9 years ago, I put a message on a discussion group about Jewish family history, indicating that it was the 90th anniversary of the Triangle Factory fire, and giving a website that listed the names of all the people who'd been killed. And I got a message from one of the people who read it that said, you understand this was on Shabbos, and the Jew, this is why this horrible thing happened, because people went to
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Well, okay,
there's
we get,
a little of everything.
of course, and the Holocaust
And I'm
happened
sure
because
that
we were
was
all,
I'm
of
sure
course.
by
So,
the way that there were people who said that at the time.
Yes, right. No, I know. Well, yeah, that's my mom's crowd. But anyway, we want to have a comedy routine because otherwise I can't deal with
Okay,
it.
sorry.
No, that would be next year. Next year would be
next year.
the
In fact,
100th.
The local
The 100th,
branch of
yeah.
the Workman Circle at our last meeting started to talk about trying to take the lead in commemorating this in the Bay Area.
Yeah. Is everybody familiar with that? The Triangle Fire. That there was
Yeah.
about 150 men and women, mostly young seamstresses,
They dived out the window.
jumped to their
Yes.
death
Yes.
from the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in Lower Manhattan because the doors were locked. They weren't allowed to go and take breaks and the fire escapes were not working, and it was an electrical fire that
They locked
happened.
the doors to keep them from stealing anything. That was basically that. They thought they were going to steal little pieces of thread or materials or things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
March 25th, 1911. That's it. So we're coming up on the 100th. Okay, let's get this song. Let's start with Nit glitch von mein Hahn sich heraus. Nit glitch von mein Hahn sich heraus. Okay, mein einziger Speise bist du. Mein einziger Speise bist du. Von Hunger und dir geh ich aus. Von Hunger und dir geh ich aus. Okay, so here's how it goes. Oh hemmerl, clap. Ready? Oh hemmerl, clap. Schlag ich schwach noch schwach. Schlag ich schwach noch schwach. in Stub ist kein Bräutschein nicht da. In Stub ist kein Bräutschein nicht da. Nur Zorres und Leid an den Eck. Nur Zorres und Leid an den Eck. Oh, Hemmerl, clap. So each verse ends with the first line again. That's the way I know it. Does everybody know it that way? Okay. No, you don't know it that way. All right. Well, so that's the shul that I went to. So.
This music doesn't end like that either.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sunlight on the neck. Okay, well, but let's do it as it's written because it doesn't matter. You can find variations on it.
All these ways.
Yeah, it is. Well, we don't know who wrote the music, but we do know who wrote the words. So let's try that verse. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, hammer, oh, clap. Schlocken, schwach noch ein Schwach. In Stub ist kein Bräutschein nicht da. Nur Zorres und Leid an der Neck. In Stub ist kein Bräutschein nicht da. Nur Zorres und Leid an der Neck. Second verse. Oh, hammer, oh, clap. Schlag scheint der Säger bald 12. Die Augen, sie machen sich zu. Gib Keuches, oh Gott, in your hell. Die Augen, sie machen sich zu. Gib Keuches, oh Gott, in your hell. Third. Oh, hammer, oh, clap. Schlag starke, den Speck ist verkehrt. Bis morgen muss fertig schein sein, der Gebiet des Täfterls Schiff. Bis morgen muss fertig schein sein, der Gebiet des Täfterls Schiff. Fourth verse. Oh, hammer, oh, clap. Nicht glitsch von mein Hand sich heraus, mein einziger Speise bist du, von Hunger an dir gefäß. Mein einziger Speise bist du, von Hunger an dir gefäß. Oh, hammer, oh, clap. Oh, hammer, oh, clap. Repeats until the shoe is finished. Okay, what do we got here? We got Hobach mit Ashpan, which I also wrote out. So this one is a labor variation of Zoltan Arav. Does anybody know this song, Zoltan Arav? I should have been a rabbi. Okay, so in this case, Hobach mit Ashpan. How many people know this song?
What is a shpan?
A shpan is a coach. It's like a wagon. Okay, like a horse and wagon kind of thing.
Yeah, because you talk about einspan and a fair, which means to...
Span and saddle the horse.
The harness.
Harness, yeah. Right.
I don't think it's saddle, I think it's...
Oh, that page isn't in yours? Okay. Does everybody have that page? Yeah. All right. So, yeah, a shpan is gedeckt mit schwarzen Leder. Yeah, well, it's the horse and carriage.
Well, it's also a big step, a shpan.
Oh yeah. Well, the cognate.
Yeah, but look at just look at the word.
Span.
Gedeckt mit schwarzen Leder.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this case, they use it for
a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, for a coach. Okay. So I have. Did I translate this? No. Okay. So I have a coach that's fitted with black leather, and I have 2 lively horses and 4 wheels, but the wheels don't turn, and the horse doesn't go, and the wife yells at me, and I need a glass of whiskey. I see a big rock, and I sit and cry. Okay.
What is Laban fared?
Two lively horses.
Leviticus.
Yeah, well, you know, how are we going to translate that they're alive? Because we know they're alive. They wouldn't be if he wouldn't be. They might be dead. Maybe you can't feed them. But in this particular case, and maybe it could be not proper grammatically, but this is what it means. Live. Lebendig is yes, live. So the verse, second verse after the chorus is under the okay. I should have been a dealer. What? A salesperson. Well, right. Okay, I should have been a dealer or some kind, you know, handler, solche. But I don't have any goods. I don't have anything to sell. I should have been a scholar. Melamed from the Hebrew, okay? But I don't know Torah.
That's a problem.
Okay? And then the third verse is, I should have been a shoemaker, but I don't have an awl. I could have been a chazan, a cantor, but I have no voice. So there I am. You know,
There's an English version, not with these words, but the whole.
Yeah. And then there's other verses that say, I don't have any hay to feed the horses. I don't have barley or corn, or you know, I don't have anything to feed my horses. So they could be dead. So here's how. We'll go over the words and then. On a glesel bronzen Welzach. Zeg mir a Stein. Sitzach mir und weh. Okay, let's just try that much. Okay, so I'll sing a line. You can repeat it. Okay. Hab mir a Span. Hab mir a Span. Gedeckt mit schwarzen Leder, gedeckt mit schwarzen Leder. Zwei Leben fern, zwei Leben fern. Is it too high? Is everybody good? Okay. Und wir reden, und wir reden. Und die Räder drehen nicht, und die Räder drehen nicht. Und die Pferde gehen nicht. Und die Weib sie schält sich, wenn ein Gläsel brannten wälze, sag mir ein Stein, setz ich mir und ein. You can hear that vein in the mode, how it goes, you know, it's that minor, of the synagogue, really, the Steiger of the synagogue, which one is that one? Well, it doesn't matter. Ava Rabbah. But anyway, that gets into the whole thing. Okay, so let's put it all together with... Hab mir a Span, gedeckt mit schwarzen Leder, zwei Leben fern, und wir reden, und die Räder drehen nicht, und die Pferde gehen nicht, und die Weib sich hält sich, und a Gläsel brannten fällt sich, sag mir a Stein, setz ich mir und ein. You want to just try the other two verses, singing them without having to stop? Okay. Wollt ich gewinn a Seucher, hab ich nicht kein Scheure. Scheure, okay. Wollt ich gewinn a Malamed, kann ich nicht kein Teure. Und die Räder drehen nicht, und die Pferde gehen nicht, und die Weib und a Gläser brannten Pelzech, sech mir a Stein, setzech mir und ein. Third verse. Wollt ich gewinn a Schuster, hab ich nicht kein Hohn. Wollt ich gewinn a Chasen, hab ich nicht kein Kohl. Chorus. Und die Räder drehen nicht, und die Fett gehen nicht, und die Weib sich schilt sich, und a Gläser brannten will sich, sech mir a Stein, sech mir und Bein. Good.
Security officers?
Security officers. Actually, there's a shlushai about a night watchman.
Oh.
Who is shlushai? That is dog. Halt. Who is there? Which is sung by Nechama Lifshitz. If you want to find it, Nechama Lifshitz does a version of it. That's a composed song. I think it might be Lazar Weiner.
Lazar Weiner.
It might be Lazar Wiener or Lazar Weiner. Other questions? Yeah.
Sehe ich mir stehen, sitze ich mir und wehen. That's like in a lot of songs, yeah?
Yeah, there's a song that has that same Nenach mir stehen. It's Alle Mädel haben Hasen an Norif bleib allein. Was willst du?
Although I heard bin ich mir.
Schuster for a man. Yeah, this is a mother-daughter song.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
want?
the one I know. That's the one
that one has the same line, but Nenach mir stehen. It's the same thing. Instead of I see it.
The version I have is Zeich mir stehen.
Well, you know,
exactly the same.
That could be both. Yeah, could be both.
Are we going to do Ruach Plus?
Are we going to do Ruach Plus?
No, we have another.
I know.
It's another class.
We ran. Okay.
Let's just sing it.
You want to sing it? Okay.
Yes, please.
Well,
You sing it.
how many people know Ruach Plus? Okay. What we'll do is we'll just maybe I'll play it too while we're at it.
What's Weiner's first name?
Laser.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or Lazar in Russian, whatever. So. I'm just going to play Ruach Plus, and whoever knows it can sing it. You can follow along. By the way, all of these songs that we've done are on my CD, which I have some with me here, and I have some out front. People interested. I'm willing to part with them for, let's say, green dead pictures of presidents that might be in your pockets. Nobody laughed.
Green pictures of dead presidents.
Yeah.
Dead pictures.
Oh. I don't know what I mean. But anyway.
Words around here, I know.
Why not? You're used to it.
I'm thinking in Yiddish. Nicht such nach du die mirten Gränen, gefindest nach dort nicht mein Schatz. Du Lebenswerke bei Maschinen, dort ist meine Ruheplatz, dort mein Ruheplatz. Nicht so mehr die Fänger singen, gefällt mir dort nicht mein Schatz. Aschgelachte du kein Klingen, dort ist meine Ruheplatz, dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Third verse. Nizuch nach du von Tannenspritzen, gefällt's mir dort nicht mein Schatz. werden rennen, seine Grenzen, dort ist meine Ruheplatz, dort ist meine Ruheplatz. Last verse. Und nimmst du mich mit wahrer Liebe, doch komm zu mir, mein guter Schatz, und heiter ein mein höchstes Streben, und mach mir süß meine Ruheplatz, und mach mir süß mein Now, just a note about that song, because I know our time is up. A lot of people mistakenly think that this song was written after the Triangle Fire. You will see that in notes, liner notes, time and time again. It's an oft-repeated mistake that Rosenfeld actually wrote this song in the 1890s because it was published in Die Glocke, and it was probably also published prior to that in Forbitz by A. Kahn. I haven't exactly seen it, but I know that it was published in the mid-1890s. Of course, it has to have been written before 1911 if it was published in the 1890s. He did write a song called The Fiery Panic. I forget the exact Yiddish. Do you know, Judy, what the Yiddish of his Fiery Panic? Feuertica something or other. Someone had a question. Yeah.
Two things. I was hoping you would do my Yingala, at least a little bit of it.
Well.
The other thing is his true resting place, talking about the Workman Circle, is Morris Rosenfeld.
We're just about there. Yeah.
Workman Circle clock in the cemetery in Queens.
Rosenfeld is buried in Queens.
In a Workman Circle.
Yeah. In a Workman Circle cemetery in Queens. That's the other thing, is Ruheplatz is not really resting place. It can be that, but it's more my quiet place or my place of respite. And that contributed to the misconception about it, the connotation of the grave. I talked to the translator 30 years ago. Anyway, thank you. Take it all with you and keep singing.
Thank you.
And we'll work on it together.